Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Cece. Hi, Susie. Hi, Bryn. Hi, Crystal. How are you guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so we have a very special, hi, Naughty Audie. We have a very special live today. We have Rena on. Welcome, Rena.
Thank you. Yeah, as you can see, I'm usually not up here for a reason. So,
But you're up here today, and I think it's going to be a really amazing live. I'm going to say now that, yeah, I'll give a fair trigger warning. It does include, sensitive topics, so viewer discretion is advised. And anyone is more than welcome to come into the chat as long as they keep it respectful and classy. That's all we ask. Okay, so Rena has gone through a lot this last year, and she's come on to share her experiences. And yeah, so do you want to get into it? Let's do it.
yes. Okay. The first thing I wanted to show, and I'm actually pretty proud of myself because obviously the services were a week after my son passed. And there was no way I was getting up there to write the speech that I had written. Took me a lot to write it. There's still like tons. I probably could have written pages and pages. But the pastor had read it. Well, today I'm very proud of myself because I wanted to at least do this. I reread and the speech that I had written. So just remember, this is written a week afterwards. Um, but I just want you all to kind of listen, and it kind of describes my son in a way. So Melissa, you can play that if you want.
Okay, and just to give a little background for anybody who may not be familiar with your story, that this is regarding your son, Zachary, who is 22 years old and has passed back in December. So, what we're going to play a video of is from the service, right? And this is a speech that Rena had written, but it's going to be in the voice of who was the woman who said it?
I actually recorded it myself today.
Oh,
I'm
you
very proud.
recorded it.
I was
Okay.
able to record it myself today. So, which is something I really wanted to do during the services. Obviously, I wanted to get up there and speak
Right.
on behalf of my son, but there was no doing that. So,
Oh, wow. Okay. So this is amazing. So we're going to have like a little bit of a visual, and you'll be able to hear the speech that Rena originally wrote during the services. And she was strong enough this time to read it herself. So very excited. So we're going to play this. Okay.
One of the hardest things I've had to write in my life, but not because I don't know what to say about Zach, but because I never thought I would have to write this. He was supposed to be writing something for me one day. I always said if something ever happened to one of my children, I don't know if I could continue to move on. I also thought I also never thought I would be put in this position. As a mother, we worry about our children all the time, and now I wish he was still here, and I would give anything to still worry. Zach probably didn't know this, but if I didn't hear from him for one day, I was contacting someone to make sure he was okay. How do I do that now? Zach, I made a promise to my husband, mom, children, family, and friends that I will do this. I know how much you cared about all of them, and you would tell me, Ma, don't worry about me. I got this. It will be hard, and I never thought I could possibly hurt this much, but I will continue to be the best mom I can be. Nana and Pop, Dad, and Uncle Dave, please take care of my baby. Now, I still need to brag about my baby. I found out I was pregnant when I was 18, and boy, was I scared. But when you were born, you made it so easy to be your mom. My handsome boy. You were 8 pounds, 11 ounces, and 21 inches. Everyone in the family adored you, as you were the first boy in the family, and you quickly became Pop's buddy, and I know he is showing you everything you need to know up there. Zach, you tested my limit sometimes, but what teenage boy doesn't? And I knew I deserved it for what I had put my mom through when I was a teenager. But I always was proud, and I hope you truly understand just how proud I was regardless of what you did. You had your battle with drug addiction, and I was so proud that you were able to fight that battle. For anyone who doesn't know, my baby hit his 2-year mark on June 14th, 2021. He was my hero because he fought a battle that many cannot. I can't even quit smoking, and the kid quit drugs. His new addiction was buying cars and riding his motorcycle. As much as riding a motorcycle scared the crap out of me, I never fought him on it because I was so proud of his recovery. Zachary, I always fought for you, and I still will fight for you till the day I die. My son was doing well. He was sober the day he died, and he had so much life yet to live. I will never understand why you were chosen to leave me that day. This week has been the hardest week of my life. And each day that passes, and I'm not getting a FaceTime, text, or call hurts more and more. Mommy's going to do this for the others that you love. I'm going to do this for the ones I love. Vinny, Hunter, and Chelsea have a big job to fill, and that is following everything you have done for many. I will make sure they call my mom numerous times a day to check up on her for you. I also want to thank you. Also want to say thank you to his girlfriend, Jen. I thank you for giving my son the opportunity to pay bills and to be a father figure before he left us. Zach would have been such a great father, and he showed it all the time with his younger brothers and sisters. Zach, you turned out to be such a great man. So many have reached out to me this past week to tell me some great stories about you. I obviously have many, many memories of you, but hearing all the stories helps me. You touched so many people's lives. I once again am so proud of you. I am thankful that almost every phone call I would tell you I love you, and you would tell me I love you too, Ma. And Zach, if I would not have known it was going to be one of the last, if I would have known it was going to be one of the last phone calls with you, I would have given you the donation you wanted for yet another vehicle. You definitely loved your vehicles. My promise to you is I will make sure your siblings are always driving safe vehicles because I know that was always your concern. I will get rid of the green dump, as you would have called it, because your brother Vinny doesn't need to be driving that. Now I need you to promise me something. I need you to watch over your brothers and sisters. Watch over all of us. This is tough, but we will do this for you. I love you, Zachary, and I will miss you more than you will ever know. But please remember this, and I will always, and have always been proud of you, and I will not let anyone forget about you. Once again, Nana and Pop-Pop Dad, Uncle Dave, and the rest of my family who have passed, please take care of him for me. I know he's in safe hands. Last Wednesday was a day I never thought I would have to go through. I would like to find the two women and firefighter who tried to save my son and thank them for being mother and father figures to him. I want to thank them for being by his side. I saw Zach on Friday, and I know nobody thought it would be a good idea, but I needed to see my son. I needed to see his mechanic hands and Zach without makeup, and I needed to tell him I love him and everything was going to be okay. Zach still was tough even up till the day he died. He looked good and handsome like my boy has always been. I spoke to a lady who had drove by right after the accident happened, and she said they were trying to save him, but she fully believes he went through no pain, and that is all I can ask for at this point, besides the fact I would like my son back. I could keep writing and writing, but I will stop for now. But I do ask you all to now promise me this. If you have kids, hug them and love them and don't take them for granted. Everyone needs to promise me that you will put the cell phones down while driving. The person on the other end can wait. If you have any problems with your vehicle, get it fixed and stop postponing it. These things can save your life. One last thing I need to ask you to promise me is please keep his memory alive. If you need to hear stories, good, and stories maybe a mother doesn't want to hear, I need to hear these stories. Any stories is my son's life story. Zachariah, I will forever share your story, and I ask anyone to feel free to contact me if you have any, and I will share mine. Zachary, I will love you forever and always, and I can't wait till we meet again. This will be hard, but I will do what is needed for your brothers and sisters.
Okay. Melissa, you there?
Okay, first of all, that was very beautiful. I apologize because I want to take subscribers mode off and I'll take it back off, but there's a zero tolerance for any trolls at all today. Ma, do you have the full approval to just immediately boot them. No trolls today. Please be respectful. I want to take it off because I want anybody who may not be subbed and wants to speak to be able to communicate in the chat. But seriously, I'm asking everyone, just save it for another day. Do not come into this live and troll. Okay, first of all, that was beautiful. That was very, very beautiful. And I'm so proud of you for being able to read that because I know how hard that must have been for you.
Yes. Well, yeah, that's when something like this happens, you almost make bucket list, and these silly things that seem silly to other people, these things are bucket list. I wasn't able to physically read it to a crowd, but this kind of makes up for what I wasn't able to do the day of his services, because he absolutely deserved.
Absolutely. I don't think so, Bryn. Why? What's going on with Nightbot? Can you tell us a little bit about Zachary and the kind of person he was?
Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna try to do this without looking like a fool. So,
You're good.
let me explain one of the many reasons why I wanted to do this today. Today actually was 3 years ago today. He finally decided to take the flight to Florida. Melissa has posted in the chat. It's called From Prison to Purpose, and we're going to show some videos from them too. If anybody is, suffering, has an addiction of any kind or anything like that, I definitely recommend to contact them. But they pretty much gave me my son, for the couple more years. He had flown. She posted up here on June 13th of 2019, made the flight from Arizona to Florida. Now, he was in Arizona at that time. 6 months prior, we had tried to send him to Arizona with his dad because we made many attempts here. But the problem is when you're an addict, if you come back out and you hang out with the same friends that you had, especially if they're into drugs or anything like that, it's really hard, to not get back into it, especially being, you have influences and stuff. So we had flown him to Arizona, actually January of 2019. And believe it or not, when he got to Arizona, because he had stayed with me for a couple days prior to us taking the flight, him taking the flight to Arizona, had done nothing, no drugs. Arizona would not take him because he didn't test dirty. So he went to Arizona, pretty much being denied the help that he wanted. He wanted to go in.
Which is so crazy, right?
It is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. He ended up getting a job in Arizona, was doing good for about 2 months. And the job that he ended up getting was like filled, with people who did drugs and, different things like that. And so he fell back into it. Unfortunately, the relationship and with him and his dad, my ex, my ex unfortunately didn't know how to handle. He didn't know what to do, how to handle anything. So June of 2019, June 13th of 2019, I actually got him in contact with From Prisons to Purpose. They spoke to him and they flew him to Florida. Zach would always tell me, no, Mom, my sober date is not until, the 14th, even the 15th, he would say. It may not even be till the 15th because that's when the drugs actually left my system. I consider today because he actually took that flight.
Right.
So that's a big reason why I wanted to really do this today. I've seen a lot of people mocking drug addicts. I've seen a lot of just horrible things on YouTube. Nobody knows anybody's story as to why. My son's story is, at a young age, I'm not going to get fully into this story. I'm not ready to tell his story yet, but at a young age, he had a very traumatic event. The person who committed the crime sits in jail for 35 years. My son just didn't feel normal. For some reason, he thought this helped him feel normal. So we struggled for, a couple years back and forth. And, even that, putting him into different places and, different things like that. They wanted to diagnose him. And it was really, it was drugs and just the fight I had with that too. but everybody may have a reason why. It just all needs to stop. I don't know if Melissa, if you can play the couple of those videos that I had sent you,
That's what I'm
just in
gonna
case
say.
anybody needs to reach out.
So again, from prison, from prison to purpose is linked. That's the link. And Nightbot is dropping it throughout the live. So this is the program that Zachary used, correct?
Yes. Yep. This is the program that Zachary. I had actually found them on Facebook. You contact them. They actually have the phone number on their site. You contact them. I was able to get Zachary on the phone with them, and they do whatever they need to convince him. And whatever they did worked.
So we urge anybody who may be struggling, or someone who might be struggling, to click the link and reach out for help. This is how Zachary got his help. They were amazing. They helped him, they aided him, and were definitely contributed to his road to recovery. So please, if you are struggling, I know I've struggled with my addiction in the past, and I'm sure hearing all around the community people throwing the addiction in someone's face, it must be very infuriating, because a lot of times the addiction roots back to something traumatic that has happened into one's life, just like you were explaining, right? There's something that happens that causes people to try to have a form of an escape, right? Or that they're feeling so depressed and so down that they need something to make them feel good. So seeing people throw around these addictions and throw it back in an addict's face, especially when they're on the road to recovery or have been recovered, it's very infuriating, because you should be supporting one another and supporting the fact that they made it through, because trying to get sober when you've been addicted to something is one of the hardest things you could ever go through. It really is. And so I know that I would love to see if people just stop throwing that back and forth in people's faces and weaponizing that information.
Well, I can tell you as someone who has experience, with having a family member, I'm not going to lie, for the first, 6 months or even a year, anytime, the unfortunate thing is Zach was a little bit upset if he got mad, as a mother, I would say, Zach, please tell me you're not. And he wasn't, but please tell me you're not using and stuff like that. And I can tell you, he would actually say, Mom, like, why should I just, because you're going to think that I'm using and stuff like that. And it was hard. So, probably the first 6 months was the hardest, because I was so scared. You know what I mean?
Right.
I can tell you he came back from Florida, actually on my birthday. It was July 30th, 2019. I got to pick him up from the airport. So, and then he also, went into a sober living home and stuff like that. But, that's one of the things too, I'm trying to just make people see is, even if someone is recovering, if you're constantly telling them that they're still doing drugs, that could cause someone to actually start using again.
It does, because as someone, like I said, who struggled with addiction in the past, the one thing that's really insanely frustrating is when someone throws it back into your face. That's why a lot of times former addicts will choose not to share that information, because every time you get upset with them, it's like, oh, what are you on drugs again? Or something like that. But yeah, so addiction doesn't just affect the addict, it affects loved ones and the family and friends, everyone around each other. So it's a long process, and I'm just so super proud of him for being able to do it. I'm happy that he was able to find a program that helped him, because unfortunately you'll go through a lot of programs where they're not actually dedicated. It's kind of like just in and out, in and out, in and out. So again, I urge anyone to reach out, click on their Facebook page. We'll watch a couple of videos from them so you guys kind of get the understanding. And I'm hoping that maybe if someone is struggling, they could help them also.
They can also, if you want to, Melissa, at my email address, I had put it in there. I know you probably had it before too, but if anybody is, I'm not going to sit here and say I have all types of experience, but I can help you, you know what I mean? Reach you maybe into things that I've learned. I was the investigator. I did all types of research, anything I could to save my baby.
And you're good at it. You're a good investigator.
Yes. Yeah, unfortunately. It could be
Okay,
bad
so
sometimes.
let me put, I'm putting your email in the chat. So if anybody wants to reach out, if anybody has any questions, whether you have a loved one or yourself is experiencing addiction, or maybe if you lost a loved one and you're learning how to cope with that, feel free to reach out.
And just so you know, I'm not going to share anything. This is not something to joke about.
No, of course. Okay, so let's start with this screen recording. I'm going to put it bigger. Okay. And again, this is from Prison to Purpose.
We've been called a lot of names in life, and we let those words define us for a very, very long time.
They called me a junkie.
They told me I was worthless.
They called me a thief.
They called me a criminal, a liar, and a cheat.
They called me a bum, a deadbeat, and a loser.
They told me I would never change, that I would never amount to anything, and I would never not be an addict.
They wished that I'd die or end up in prison for the rest of my life.
They thought I was a waste of time, a waste of breath, and not worth it.
They told me that I was nothing.
I'm sure they had reasons to feel that way, and I know I was a lot of those things, but that's not who I am.
Today I'm a father.
Today I'm a mother.
Today I'm a beacon of light.
Today I give hope.
Today I share my story all over the country.
Today I'm a good friend.
Today I'm an amazing son and brother.
Today I'm sober.
Today I give my all to help my community.
Today, instead of being destructive, I'm helpful. And instead of harming people, I pray for them.
Today I am who God intended me to be.
Today, I'm fulfilling my purpose.
So don't buy into the negative labels. You too can achieve your hopes and dreams.
The words that describe you today do not have to be the words that describe you tomorrow.
It's time to turn your life around. If you or anyone you know is struggling with drug addiction or alcoholism, please reach out today.
And as always, like and follow my page.
Okay, so that's Shay Walters, right? And she's from Prison to Purpose. And
Yes.
Did you ever reach out? Did you speak to her directly when Zach went into the program?
Yep, I spoke to her directly, and she actually was the one that gave Zach a phone call. Had to get Zach's permission first, and she spoke to Zach. Rich, the gentleman in there, they're actually both married. They are two recovering addicts themselves. I think it's been like 8 years or something like that, but they both found each other, and this is their purpose, their mission, to help other recovering addicts, to get help. So if you contact them, they were able to, and Florida has all types of help. I'm not saying other states don't, but it worked for Zach. So they actually flew him out. So what they did was they flew him out, and then he didn't have to put any money up front or anything like that, but they were able to fly him out. And then after he got, sober and got himself a job and stuff like that, he would pay them back. They're able to, do discounts.
So they worked with you guys.
They do.
Main priority was his sobriety and financials and stuff. They were willing to work along you guys and make sure that he got the help he needed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
Okay.
I would recommend it for anybody that needs help. If anybody knows anybody, share them, definitely.
So you just messaged them on Facebook? You went to the Facebook page?
Yep, I messaged them on Facebook. There's actually a phone number too. I believe that I text them. We had talked back and forth, and then she finally said, "Do you think he's ready to talk?" After kind of going back and forth, with Zach, I finally convinced him. I'm going to tell you, it was pretty hard for him because he was like, "Mom, they're just going to turn me away again." Because like I said, when he first went to Arizona, which I don't understand, they turned him away because he didn't have
clean.
drugs in his system. I'm like, seriously?
So if anybody isn't familiar with detox and stuff, when an addict goes into the detox center, they advocate to come in dirty, to come in while drugs are still in your system. And so Zach got turned away, like Rena said, because initially when he came in, it was already out of his system. And that doesn't mean you aren't withdrawing or anything, versus it a lot of the times these are short acting drugs. And so within like 24 to 48 hours, it could be out of your system. But that's when the withdrawals really start to kick in. And it's sad that they would turn them away at all. If someone's coming and looking for help and is asking for help, why would you turn them away? And so they end up getting discouraged. And just like you're explaining how Zach would be like, they're just going to, they're not going to accept me. That's the mentality you don't want. When someone finally reaches out for help, because someone who's struggling, it takes a lot for them to get to that point. It really does. And getting turned away, I can't imagine how discouraging that was for him. But the fact that he actually did follow through is amazing. And it showed how motivated he was to get on the right track.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so this is another clip from Prison to Purpose. So this is Shay Walters.
Overdose, paramedics on the way. Narcan could save them, but the taxpayers don't want to pay. They say it's too high of a cost for a life that's a waste. But what if it was your son or daughter? Maybe then you'd change your ways. You say you don't care if she had 3 kids. Maybe she should have thought of that before she did what she did. To look at a human and think they don't matter. To say they should die, even though their child's heart would shatter. And who cares if she had a mom that truly did love her? Maybe she shouldn't have chosen the drugs above her. How cold could you be to want that for another? Maybe you should be the one to tell the kids they lost their mother. And you can knock on the door and say your daddy didn't live. He wasn't worth it. He had nothing to give. And you can tell their parents that their child is dead, that you chose to leave them choking, overdosing in their bed. When you see someone struggling, remember they have a family and how hurt they would be to see their loved one get buried. I've seen addicts turn preachers and teachers turn addicts. I've seen junkies get clean and cops develop habits. There isn't one person safe from this epidemic, so maybe you shouldn't speak on it unless you've personally lived it. So for all of you people that think that would never be me, not my child, not my family, never say never, because it just isn't true. And every life matters, and it's not up to you.
That was beautiful. She's gorgeous, but I love her attitude, because if you would look at her from an outsider's perspective, you would never think she was an addict, right? But that's the entire point. There are teachers who are addicts, there are nurses who are addicts, there's moms who are addicts, there's children who are addicts. Like, I feel like a lot of times people have this mental image of what an addict is, and that's not the case. Addicts don't discriminate. Addiction doesn't discriminate. It catches upon everyone. But to see the transformation she has made, it's really amazing. Okay, so here's another clip. So what year was it when you reached out? 2019?
Yep, 2019. Well, it was probably actually 2018 and I was kind of talking back and forth and, and things like that. Zach had actually gone into Pennsylvania the beginning of November, and that was the same type of thing. He went in and they didn't really do much for him. Within days he was back out. And the problem is because he was going right back into, you know what I mean? And then hanging right back out with friends and stuff like that. I'm going to be honest, the girlfriend at the time, she didn't help much either. So, but he would just fall right back into it. So, I mean, that's another suggestion. And they give you the means to be able to do this. Because people can't travel. Some, you live paycheck to paycheck and stuff like that. You can't travel and stuff. They help you do this, because this is the best option I would give anybody. To, if you can, to try to go out of your area. Just from watching him, it's hard, especially, the young age he was, peer pressure and things like that. So.
How, if you don't mind answering, how old was he when he started falling into drugs, just to have an idea? Sorry.
Trying to see. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
How old was he when he first started to fall into drugs? Like, how long was he struggling with addiction before he went and got help?
It was, and that's what I said earlier. Yeah, it was a good couple years of back and forth, and things like that. And even with something like this, it was the struggle because, like I said, with the trauma that happened to him, I went from having a very patient son, to all of a sudden, a son that was angry, and we were back and forth with counseling, and different things like that. And it was, they wanted to diagnose him bipolar. They wanted to do this. Sometimes they would do a drug test. They wouldn't do a drug test. And, just the system, the whole system alone, when you're trying to deal with a child, it just makes it almost impossible. But it was a good couple years of going back and forth, believe it or not.
Okay, so let's play this clip.
You want to judge me and call me names? If I was your daughter, would you feel the same? You say that I chose this, that I dreamed of putting a needle in my arm. Listen, I didn't know a few drinks in high school could lead to so much harm. A drink turned to a pill, and then that wasn't enough. I didn't quite grasp the severity of this stuff. I was young, I was stupid, but I didn't choose this. I had hoped to be successful, just like my big sis. You think I don't work or that I'm uneducated? I was a straight A student, and now I'm just hated. You think that no one could love someone like me? Please tell that to my mom, because I think she'd disagree. You think I should be locked up and then throw away the key? What about my son? What kind of life would that be? When someone has heart problems, they should see a doctor. But an addict, you think the solution is to mock her? I'm a good person. I have a really good heart, but you'd never know that because you judged me from the start. Guess what? I'm sober now, and I don't care what you think, but the people still suffering could be pushed past the brink. So before you judge one of my fellow addicts, think of this poem. Matter of fact, I hope you give the apology that you owe him.
Really amazing program. And I know I saw, who said it? Oh, D2S. Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't heard of this program sooner. It sounds like an incredible resource. And again, I thank you, Rena, for sharing this program. Very important and good to have information. Yeah, exactly. That's why the link, again, is pinned. It's continuously being dropped throughout the chat. Please, if someone you know or yourself is struggling, reach out. Reach out.
Okay, now on to the next topic.
Okay.
My son was on December 8th. I had gotten a phone call that no parent ever wants. Was actually at the heart doctor with my husband. My husband had a heart attack like a month before this.
Yep.
And we were at the heart doctor for a follow-up and got the phone call that my son was in a vehicle accident. At that time, we were not sure. They weren't even really supposed to make the phone call to the person they made the phone call to. So they didn't give any information. They couldn't tell whether he had passed, whether he lived, or anything like that. So I spent the next hour or so, I had to drive home, spent the next hour or so just patiently waiting, where they kept telling me at that point the state troopers would be at my house. Now this happened in New Jersey because my son did work in New Jersey. He was on his way to work. It was 8:15 in the morning when this happened. And I didn't know what was going on. I had gotten the
I was
phone
going to
call.
show the pictures, like still shots.
And they basically, so I had to wait that hour or so. That's why with this whole shootings things that happened with the school, I can't even envision these parents waiting hours. An hour was the worst time of my life. Just kind of waiting, to find out what had happened and not knowing what happens. He was ejected from the vehicle. Zachary was the biggest fight that me and him always had, the seatbelts. He, for some reason, mom, Ma, he would say, if I wear a seatbelt, if I were to get in an accident, it would kill me. It would strangle me. Because of not having the seatbelt on, he was ejected. He was literally thrown from the vehicle. He may still be here if he wore his seatbelt. Second thing, we're most positive he was on his phone. My sister was able to catch that he had posted a Facebook story literally right around that time. Also, when I had seen him 2 days after the accident, I was finally able to go see him after fighting because I went to see him before the services.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. His hands were actually, a mom knows how their son does everything. I knew how Zachary held his phone. He was holding his phone. It bothers me, and if anybody can hear this and it can help them, and I'm not saying that I was innocent. I'm not saying I was always innocent. But I also never thought that this would happen. It bothers me because I see more and more on YouTube, people streaming, people reading chat while they're driving. You can physically see them driving while they're just really think about this. Think of your family. If you're a parent, think of your kids. Think of your parents. That's one of the many things that pushed me to do this also. That can wait till afterwards. I mean, I'll talk on my phone. I have Bluetooth, but I'm not reading anything. Melissa can tell you.
Mm-hmm.
There's times where she'll say, oh, I want to send you something. And I'm like, well, I can't check it till I get home.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So that's one of the many reasons why I wanted to do this also, because you know what? The kid was going to work that day. He never would have thought. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think that's a big thing, is that we all kind of live with we know these things happen, but it's not going to happen to me mentality. And I remember that that's something that you continued to say to us, is that, I never thought it would happen to me, right? I never thought it's going to happen to you, but it does. And when you see, and I've been guilty, I have live streamed while I'm driving before. I'll put it in my little holder and I won't look at chat unless I get to a red light, but still, like, it can wait. But I can't imagine, after going through what you've gone through, then to see people streaming, reading chat, actively driving. It's like you kind of want to shake them, right? Like, just don't do it. It's not worth it, because it's a split second. Like she said, Zachary was driving to work that morning. It was almost 8:30 in the morning. It was a beautiful day, actually. And
it was 8:15. He literally, his boss, he was running a little bit late. His boss had gotten a phone call about 10 minutes before. And he was just saying to his boss, I'm on my way. I'm running late.
I remember, so Rena had called in our group. God, what time was it? It was very, very early. Like,
I had found out, it was when, like I said, Ken was in the doctors. I had found out I wasn't able to call any other family member till I found out. So I reached out to the girls, and which, they helped so much. Bryn too. I'm sorry, Bryn will include you in the girls.
Mm-hmm.
And it was quite the day.
The most heartbreaking thing, and powerless. So I remember you had called and you were frantic, but you could tell that you were still in shock, because you didn't know. And just like you said with the school shooting, and that's what you said many times to me directly, is that it's the waiting and it's the not knowing that is pure torture. Not saying that when you find out it is indeed your child and that they passed, but it's torture, the fact that you don't know for certain. And when you had called us, I'll never forget it. It was like, I heard that he got into an accident. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's still alive. I don't know if he's getting taken to the hospital. It was chaos. And then it wasn't that long after that you had called back and said that, it is Zach and he passed. And again, it goes back to, you don't think it's going to happen. Like, there was not a chance that when we were just talking to you a couple hours before, everything is fine. We're giggling about something going on YouTube. You had your husband's appointment in the morning, and then bam, just like that, in a split second, everything changed.
You don't know. It was, and I'm going to be honest, 2021 was the year that, the end of the year was what changed me. I'm going to admit I'm not going to sit here and lie. I still do dabble in some of the drama as much as I try not to. I was all up in the drama. I lost my dad October 7th of 2021. My husband had a heart attack the end of October. And then I get through November and I'm like, okay, we made it through November to losing my son December 8th. So, all that thing, it just makes you realize that there's so much more to life.
It
There's
really
so
doesn't
much
matter.
more.
The fighting, the everything. And again, in a split second, just like that, everything can change, and I know it's cheesy and cliche to say that, appreciate what you have. You're not promised tomorrow, but it's really true. It's so true, because I'm sure you look back on all the days you were fighting about stupid nonsense or distracted, and it's like I would go back and give anything to have those days again, to not do this, or to spend more time with him here. And that's got to drive you crazy too. Like, do you experience those emotions of, what if I did this? Or if I had just called him, if he was 1 minute behind, this wouldn't have happened. Can you explain a little bit of those feelings that you experience?
Oh yeah. Well, no, I've told you before. You go through. I mean, I'm sure anybody who's lost anybody, it could be anybody, you go through the guilt and stuff. But I go through. I mean, it's something as simple as when he came back from rehab, I had found a sober living home in New Jersey. It's not far from where I am I live in Delaware. It's not that far, but it wasn't bringing him back to where we are to possibly, you know what I mean, end up going back with the people that he hung out with. And, because I'm going to tell you, some of them were relentless.
Yeah.
They wanted to pull him right back in. But, and he ended up making his home, he got a girlfriend in New Jersey and stuff like that, and was doing really good. And he got in an accident on New Jersey highway. So you think about stuff like that. I'm like, what if I didn't? Would he still be here? You think of things like that. But I feel my purpose now is no matter how annoying I may be, that annoying girl on YouTube, but if I see someone using the phone when they're not doing it, if I see, I'm going to call it out. That's my purpose, and I'm doing it for my son, and that's what he would have wanted, because that was one of his things. Is he would find people if they needed to go to AA meetings. I mean, and everything else. And I do want to state he was sober. The day he died. It wasn't anything. He wasn't on anything. 3 years sober today. Well, I'm sorry. He'll tell me tomorrow, but I'm going to say today, 3 years sober.
And that's why today is so significant. And that's why you decided to do this live, which I commend you, because this could be one of the most difficult things you ever have to do, right? At least for me, I know that when something pains me, I don't talk about it, because talking about it kind of brings up all of those emotions. But I'm so super proud of you. Today marks that 3 years of him on his sobriety journey. And it is an amazing thing that when he passed, and you got the toxicology report back, right? Because it's a standard routine. And just to even see it again, even though you knew he was sober, but to see that he did it, he was not, he had no drugs in his system, and he was sober until the day he passed.
Yep, he did it. He did it. And like I said, he went through what other people hear. I mean, I probably should have pulled it up, but I'd have to find it. But I mean, he had to do a Facebook Live one time because there was people that were questioning whether or not he was. And he went and got a piss test, and he took it, and he did a Facebook Live, and he was so frustrated that people were accusing him, and he was sober. And this is the stuff, just watching what my son went through, I'm like, stop. Everybody needs to stop. And you know what? If that person that you are saying is not, if someone's on here claiming that they're recovering and maybe they still are using, just, it's not your business. You know what I mean? It's not your business. Bringing the negativity, you think that's going to make them stop? You know what I mean? Like harassing them, doing lives or anything like that. No, you know what I mean? Maybe stuff like, I'm doing here, or other people, or from prison to purpose. Hopefully these are the things that'll pull those people in.
Absolutely. And even Allie said that she still has the prison of purpose linked in some of her videos for the people who do need help.
Yes.
So, and you're right, because I'll leave Rena like Facebook audios, or I'll be on the phone with her and you'll hear the ding, ding, ding of my seatbelt. And the first thing she does is yell at me because why isn't your seatbelt on? And Parker had said that because of your experience, Rena, her husband stopped using his phone while driving. It was their biggest fight, but after hearing the story, he had stopped.
Yep. I'm going to be honest, and y'all probably going to think I'm crazy, but Melissa knows this. And what was it, Melissa? A couple weeks afterwards or whatever, I wasn't even thinking, and I went to pick up my phone while driving. And it was like something that I was in not the right state of mind at all then. And I'm going to be honest, I was at a point, I'm not saying I was suicidal, but I just didn't care. But I picked up my phone, and I swear they're going to think I'm crazy. But I heard a big knock on my window while I was driving, and that was enough for me. I was like, all right, it's got to be Zach telling me no.
Yeah.
And I don't do it anymore. So it's crazy, and I'd like to eventually, and everybody's probably going to think that I'm the crazy on YouTube. But me and Melissa have talked about, I've got tons of things. I don't know if people believe in it, but tons of signs that I've gotten, just to show me that, he is still around. I was not really a big believer of this stuff, and, the amount of stuff that I've gotten from my son, and my dad, has made me a believer in that now. Just, showing me that he is still here, not here the way I truly want to, but he's still here.
Well, that's what I was going to say. First of all, you don't sound crazy at all. Second off, at least my audience, you guys know that we have dived deep into what happens, after death, reincarnation. Rena has gotten some of the most vivid, amazing signs from Zachary. They are, Michelle. But in the beginning, right, I remember when she first started coming to me about it, in the beginning, it's like, okay, like you could maybe chalk a couple up to coincidence. But eventually these signs started to become so often and so vivid, you cannot deny it. And if you're comfortable naming a few of them that have happened, I'm sure people are very eager to hear it, because when I say like, no, this isn't just a grieving mom who is seeing what she wants to see, it's there, and it blows my mind. It really does.
Yep, you can name them, because I always feel like you could name them.
So Zach's face comes like everywhere. So whenever she takes photos or anything, somewhere within the photo, it'll be a full face apparition, like D2S is saying. Like you see his face within the picture. And one of the examples is, her younger son had just graduated, and it wasn't even a photo that she had taken herself. It was a photo that somebody else had taken. And in the background, you can see Zach's face. Yes. Within the moon, you see Zach's face. And again, it's not something that just a grieving mom is seeing. She will send it to us, and it's like, you can't deny it. It's there.
The moon was hard, though. The moon I actually had to catch, because I was like, no, you can't see it when you take a picture and stuff. And they hear it all the time. I'm like, I know you think I'm crazy.
But you're not, because they're there. They are very prominent.
Orbs on my video camera, my living room, the camera I have.
And the clouds. Always within the clouds, he is leaving hearts. You will see a big Z, for Zachary in the cloud. It's undeniable, and it's there. And we have heard a lot about people who pass over suddenly, people who pass over young. They tend to send a lot more signs and communicate rather than someone who may have just passed naturally from old age. I don't know what it is about Zach, but he makes it known that his presence is there.
Mm-hmm. He does.
Mom's brother would show up in pics of his 14-year-old son after he passed, and holy cow, it was insane how detailed it could be. That's what I'm saying, Allie. Like, it's there. His face is there, and it gives you chills, but at the same time, comforting. It's not just one or two that could be chalked up to coincidences. This is something that has been consistent and undeniable. Undeniable.
And he likes to pick on my 19-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes, he does.
last night, Melissa, what did he say last night? It was, he had his phone plugged in, and then he came out to the kitchen real quick. And then when he went back in, he had his girlfriend on the phone, and it was plugged in on one side of the bed. And he came out to get medicine, or I don't even know, no, Tylenol or whatever. And he went back into the room, and the phone was unplugged, and it was on the other side of the bed. Now, the only part about this was the girlfriend, because I ran in and I was talking to her. She said all of a sudden the screen froze and she could hear someone moving the phone. Well, Vinny wasn't in there. So he'll do things like that.
When he came back, the phone was moved, guys. It was off the charger and it was moved to the other side of the bed. All he did was, imagine just FaceTiming someone on your bed and, hold on, I'll be right back. Put it down on the phone, go into the kitchen, get some medicine, come back, and it's unplugged and it's put on the other side of the bed. And the person who was still on the FaceTime was like, what happened? The screen paused and I heard a bunch of ruffling. Like, she had so many, Allie. So a lot of times,
I was proud of him.
She did. A lot of times he'll communicate through music and songs. So he very much liked Eminem. So all the time, this Eminem song will come on. That was another time that her other son was taking a bath. His phone was sitting there. It wasn't being used, untouched. It was off for 10 minutes. Then all of a sudden, Slim Shady, will the real Slim Shady please stand up?
Vinny stood up. Vinny stood up to get out of the bath, and the real Slim Shady please stand up came on his phone and started playing.
He bugs with them. Like last night, there was a lot of signs that it was almost like he was still taunting his younger brother. That energy, his personality is still there. So yeah, he's gotten so many signs.
And if people promise not to say that I'm crazy, I'm the crazy YouTube lady, I'm the this, I mean, I will eventually. I know GTOS said they'll help me come up with a video. Maybe I can post a video of all the signs, or
a compilation of everything. Again, it's not one or two things where you could kind of be like, she wants to see what she wants to see. She's a grieving mom. Nope. It is way beyond that. And it's been happening since his passing. And there is even the Susie experience, right? That was way in the beginning. Susie is very, she's an empath. She's very intuitive. And correct me if I'm wrong, Susie, it was something along the lines of when you get out of the shower and the mirror is all foggy with the condensation, it was a Z, right? And a specific set of numbers that were on this mirror. And you had figured out the significance to those numbers and it correlated directly back with you. It was just amazing. Yeah, everyone says they want to see them. Definitely.
Yeah, we'll come up with it. Yeah, I have to get it all set up and all that, and we'll definitely post them. I probably have a whole bunch in the chat. It's all on my phone. Yeah.
And yeah, D2S. So it's kind of similar to Spirit Box. So basically, you have to remember the entire Earth is frequencies, we're radio waves, and what we have been able to determine is that when you pass over to the other side, you're still energy. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, meaning even if a person's body dies, their vessel is no longer, that energy has to be somewhere. And so they're able to communicate through frequencies, the radios, the phones, anything that they're basically, it's a wave, so that the frequencies are all waves, and they manipulate the waves to be able to communicate, whether it be through Spirit Box, through songs, radios, lights flickering, television, it's all frequencies. Absolutely, DTOS. So after
we'll come up with that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
We'll come up with that. And then also, it's amazing. And I'm not saying anybody I find free, but there's like sites that I can go on. Like people who are like training, like medium trainings and stuff like that. And I've been able to, and I know this is real because I've also played these for the, and the information they're giving me, they wouldn't know unless they were able to. So there's many things that I've been able to do to kind of get me through. Number one, my children, I have other children. So they I promised them, I promised family, I promised, my husband and everything, but just these many things. It's crazy. Well, now I feel better. There's a lot of people because what did I say to you, Melissa? I was like, I would do it if people didn't think I was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, like
So,
the signs there, you can't argue them. It's there. It's there. And Susie says the numbers that were on the glass turned out to be the last four number of Rena's phone number, right? And so it was a Z, and then the numbers on it were her phone number. And so it was like,
and Susie does not know my phone number.
Susie did not know her phone number. Susie came in and was like, I had
what was it, like weeks, Melissa? This just shows you this is how like naive I am, because it didn't even click into my head until weeks afterwards. I'm like, wait a second.
Much
That's
longer.
my phone number.
Months. It might have been like 2 months after.
Yeah, it was a while after. The first couple months, I was in a fog. I just, I didn't even. No, there was
Susie
no
had
having
no
conversations.
idea. Susie, okay, so first of all, actually, Susie kind of had a premonition. So Susie had a very vivid dream regarding something happening to Zachary. Now, Zachary correlated to Susie. She has a Zachary in her life. So she thought it was referencing that family member. And then it was like the next day or two after that Rena's son Zach had passed, that Susie was like, that dream that I had wasn't about my Zach, it was about her Zach. And so then it was very shortly after Zach's passing that Susie had come in and said that she just had a very unique experience. And this, the fog on the mirror had the big Z and it had all of the numbers. And it's like, does this mean anything to you? And it wasn't until a while after that, Rena's like, oh my God, it's my phone number. It's my phone number. And Susie does not know her phone number. So there was no way Susie would be able to predict the significance of those numbers. To her, it was just, these are the numbers. I don't know what it means. And yeah, so it was just surreal. It was surreal. Inti's apple bottom jeans. So I have Rena up on panel. Her son Zachary, 22, had passed back in December from a car accident. So we're really just kind of going through her experience, Zach's story, and she's just trying to put out a message for people to be a little bit more appreciative, value life, because at any given moment, it can be taken from you. Stop weaponizing addiction. If somebody is on the road to recover, has recovered, or still struggling, don't throw it back in their face, because that could also throw them into a deeper spiral. And to be smarter while driving. Do not text while driving, looking at your phone. It's not worth it. So what are some of the things as a mother who's grieving their child, because I'm sure that there are many other parents out there who have lost their child too. What are some of the things that you did after Zach's passing that helped you cope?
Like I said, it's almost like you build a bucket list. I mean, what she has up on the screen right here is April 15th. So, I couldn't do it till then. I couldn't actually go to the site, where this car accident happened. So that was almost what you consider like my bucket list. You kind of, create different things, what you're going to do, I mean, for what was it? A couple weeks, for the first couple weeks, you almost, as silly as it sounds, you're in shock. And I didn't want to eat, because you know what? If my son can't eat, how can I sit here and eat?
Yep.
I mean, he was a grown boy. He loved to eat.
And what you
know what I mean?
You would eat things that I
ate salads for the first couple weeks. Yeah, I ate salads, things that I knew that he wouldn't eat.
Yep, she said, I will not.
I couldn't do the vegetables. I know he wouldn't eat the vegetables. I couldn't physically. I'm not a vegetable person.
Yeah.
But you kind of, you get through with that, and I still have. You know what I mean? I'm always going to have this. This is, it's. I don't know. I've been through many relatives that have passed, but nothing is like this pain. It's, and that's one of my things too, is I was like, I need to be a better person, because it's not like kids go to bed and mom can do what she wants. She could be nasty. She could do this on YouTube. She could do, oh no, because Zachary's always going to see what I'm doing. So I need to be good mom.
Well, and
You know,
that's what you had said to us. And I'll just let this play in the background because they're amazing photos. Yes. Oh, sure, absolutely. So
okay, I'm going to real quick take a quick pee break. I don't know how people do it, but I haven't even been on for an hour and I have to pee.
I'll play the
So-
video again because Adeline's asking, so you're good to go. I'll mute.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Listen. For anybody who wasn't here, again, this is a video compilation of photos, of Zachary growing up and of the accident. And what Rena, you'll hear her reading in the background, is what she had read during Zachary's service during his funeral. So she just read it back out for us. Oh my goodness, I was talking that entire time and I was muted. So again, anybody who wasn't here, this is a video compilation of some of the photos of Zachary growing up, the day of his accident, the automobile, and along those lines. And what's being read in the background this is what Rena had read the day of Zachary's service. And so it's in her own writing. So she's reading it out in the background for us to hear while we watch the video. Oh, you heard me? Oh, it showed mute. Okay, here, I'm going to play it.
There's things I've had to write in my life, but not because I don't know what to say about Zach, but because I never thought I would have to write this. He was supposed to be writing something for me one day. I always said if something ever happened to one of my children, I don't know if I could continue to move on. I also never thought I would be put in this position. As a mother, we worry about our children all the time, and now I wish he was still here, and I would give anything to still worry. Zach probably didn't know this, but if I didn't hear from him for one day, I was contacting someone to make sure he was okay. How do I do that now? Zach, I made a promise to my husband, mom, children, family, and friends that I will do this. I know how much you cared about all of them, and you would tell me, Ma, don't worry about me. I got this. It will be hard, and I never thought I could possibly hurt this much, but I will continue to be the best mom I can be. Nana and Pop-Pop, Dad, and Uncle Dave, please take care of my baby. Now, I still need to brag about my baby. I found out I was pregnant when I was 18, and boy, was I scared. But when you were born, you made it so easy to be your mom. My handsome boy. You were 8 pounds, 11 ounces, and 21 inches. Everyone in the family adored you, as you were the first boy in the family, and you quickly became Pop-Pop's buddy, and I know he is showing you everything you need to know up there. Zach, you tested my limit sometimes, but what teenage boy doesn't? And I knew I deserved it for what I had put my mom through when I was a teenager. But I always was proud, and I hope you truly understand just how proud I was regardless of what you did. You had your battle with drug addiction, and I was so proud that you were able to fight that battle. For anyone who doesn't know, my baby hit his 2-year mark on June 14th, 2021. He was my hero because he fought a battle that many cannot. I can't even quit smoking, and the kid quit drugs. His new addiction was buying cars and riding his motorcycle. As much as riding the motorcycle scared the crap out of me, I never fought him on it because I was so proud of his recovery. Zachary, I always fought for you, and I still will fight for you till the day I die. My son was doing well. He was sober the day he died, and he had so much life yet to live. I will never understand why you were chosen to leave me that day. This week has been the hardest week of my life. And each day that passes, and I'm not getting a FaceTime, text, or call, hurts more and more. Mommy's going to do this for the others that you love. I'm going to do this for the ones I love. Vinny, Hunter, and Chelsea have a big job to fill, and that is following everything you have done for many. I will make sure they call my mom numerous times a day to check up on her for you. I also want to say thank you to his girlfriend, Jen. I thank you for giving my son the opportunity to pay bills and to be a father figure before he left us. Zach would have been such a great father, and he showed it all the time with his younger brothers and sisters. Zach, you turned out to be such a great man. So many have reached out to me this past week to tell me some great stories about you. I obviously have many, many memories of you, but hearing all the stories helps me. You touch so many people's lives. I once again am so proud of you. I am thankful that almost every phone call I would tell you I love you, and you would tell me I love you too, Ma. And Zach, if I would not have known it was going to be one of the last, if I would have known it was going to be one of the last phone calls with you, I would have given you the donation you wanted for yet another vehicle. You definitely loved your vehicles. My promise to you is I will make sure your siblings are always driving safe vehicles because I know that was always your concern. I will get rid of the green dump, as you would have called it, because your brother Vinny doesn't need to be driving that. Now I need you to promise me something. I need you to watch over your brothers and sisters. Watch over all of us. This is tough, but we will do this for you. I love you, Zachary, and I will miss you more than you will ever know. But please remember this, and I will always, always, and have always been proud of you, and I will not let anyone forget about you. Once again, Nana and Papa, Dad, Uncle Dave, and the rest of my family who have passed, please take care of him for me. I know he's in safe hands. Last Wednesday was a day I never thought I would have to go through. I would like to find the two women and firefighter who tried to save my son and thank them for being mother and father figures to him. I want to thank them for being by his side. I saw Zach on Friday, and I know nobody thought it would be a good idea, but I needed to see my son. I needed to see his mechanic hands and Zach without makeup, and I needed to tell him I love him and everything was going to be okay. Zach still was tough even up till the day he died. He looked good and handsome like my boy has always been. I spoke to a lady who had drove by right after the accident happened, and she said they were trying to save him, but she fully believes he went through no pain, and that is all I can ask for at this point, besides the fact I would like my son back. I could keep writing and writing, but I will stop for now. But I do ask you all to now promise me this. If you have kids, hug them and love them and don't take them for granted. Everyone needs to promise me that you will put the cell phones down while driving. The person on the other end can wait. If you have any problems with your vehicle, get it fixed and stop postponing it. These things can save your life. One last thing I need to ask you to promise me is please keep his memory alive. If you need to hear stories, good, and stories maybe a mother doesn't want to hear, I need to hear these stories. Any stories is my son's life story. Zachariah, I will forever share your story, and I ask anyone to feel free to contact me if you have any, and I will share mine. Zachary, I will love you forever and always, and I can't wait till we meet again. This will be hard, but I will do what is needed for your brothers and sisters.
So beautiful. I'm looking, Rena, I want to find that one specific one too. If you could share that one with the one where it also looks like your dad, you know that one? Because that one always gives me the chills. Like it's so
Oh, yeah. Let me see
looking
if I
for
can.
that.
I'm trying to figure out. Hold
I'm
on, I
like
may have it in my phone.
scrolling. And then I'll also go through the article and I'm gonna ask you a little something
Yes.
like that before I go through it. But
Yeah.
it's gotta be here soon.
I'm not worried about it. You can just, I mean, anything that's in there is fine.
Because that one, oof, it's so vivid. So something else, like as far as the signs, Rena always gets feathers. She'll always see little bird feathers like placed perfectly, which have significance. Like certain white ones have significance. And then the birds themselves are very attracted to Rena recently, which is funny because they you never
Well, even that, I will admit, even started. So, like I said, my dad passed away October 7th, literally like 2 months right before my son did. And it was like 2 weeks afterwards. Me and the birds outside, we have a funky relationship. Like I feed them. Like I'm obsessed with making sure I've always like bird feeders and stuff, but they drive me nuts. Like they're pigs. They make a mess. They don't clean up after themselves outside and all that. But literally, what was it, like 2 weeks afterwards, Melissa, I think it was. I could show the picture of that too, the bird. I go to leave to go pick up my kids from school, and there's this bird, and like it just would not move. And I had to like literally run past it. And when I came back, it was sitting on the bird feeder, but like was just sitting there. So I went to go walk up to it, and it just stayed there and was staring at me and like wouldn't move. And you would have thought it was sick. My husband came home, and I was like, can walk up. As soon as he walked up to the bird flew away. So
Nothing to do with him.
yeah. So the birds like to, and now I have this one bird that literally I could be on the phone with, anybody, and the bird will come up, and you think I'm like the crazy bird lady because it'll come up and yell at me and like right in my face. So I believe that's another sign.
I'm looking for this photo. Where is it?
It was.
Thought it was in the Sean, and I'm looking.
Well, you want to read the article, and I'll see if I can find it because I can't read that article. And then.
Yes. So let me get the article up.
All right, I'm gonna mute, and then I'll look for that.
Okay. So after the accident, there was an article written, and I'm going to read it to you guys. And after, I'm going to ask Rena to explain a little bit of what happened at the accident. And because if we could get the word out and kind of go over it, that would be amazing to try to bring awareness. So hold on. Okay. So here's the article. And I'm sorry, can we just acknowledge how handsome he was? Because he was so handsome. So it shows mom wants to meet good Samaritans who tried to save her son in a fatal crash. You guys don't need to see the words. I'll read it. Here's the photo of him. He was a mechanic. So it says, Zachary was just 22 years old when his life came to an abrupt end on a South Jersey highway last December. He was running late for work at his job in Pennsylvania when he lost control of his Toyota Scion as he drove northbound on Route 55 in Franklin Township near milepost 40.8. The car ran off the roadway into the center median shortly after 8 a.m., overturned, and struck a guardrail on the southbound side of the highway. Zachary was thrown from the car and died of his injuries. In his final moments, a few other motorists stopped and rushed to help the young man. Zach's mother, Rena, still grieving the loss of her oldest son, wants to find and thank those good Samaritans who stopped that day. It's part of her quest to find closure. A few days after the crash, a woman posted on social media that she had seen a few people stop to help Zachary after his crash. Rena contacted her to learn more, and after visiting the crash site, decided to post a Facebook request reaching out to those helpers. She heard back from a man who stopped. He described a woman in scrubs who was already there when he pulled over. Why he pulled over, she was already there trying to resuscitate him, Rena said. Rena hopes to hear from this woman or anyone else who stopped. They may contact her at insert email. At this point, as a mother, I want to reach out to them and say thank you, because not many people would take the time to stop, she said. I don't care if there are any more answers I can get. 4 months after the crash, Rena, who lives in Delaware, traveled to the Gloucester County location where her son died December 8th. She wanted to understand how the crash happened. She wonders if he was on his phone or if the accident was the result of a mechanical failure in his car. Going there last Friday, I got a better idea, she said. It is a very curvy area right there. Since he was thrown from the car, she doubts he was wearing a seatbelt. They had argued about that before. I know that he wasn't wearing his seatbelt. That was my biggest fight with him, she said. Well, Mom, if I wear a seatbelt, that could kill me if I ever got into an accident, he would tell her. You almost question if he did have his seatbelt on, there's a possibility that he could still be here. Zach worked with a close friend as an auto mechanic in Pennsylvania and commuted to work from Commercial Township in South Jersey. The crazy part about this is he had literally called him right before all this happened and told him that he was running late. Her son told her his Scion needed work, so a mechanical issue could have been a factor, she speculated. I don't know if you know much about mechanics, but they make sure everybody else's vehicles are okay, but they never do what they need to with theirs. Putting others first was part of his nature, his mom recalled. He was someone who could help anybody out that he could, she said. He knew everybody. It was no surprise that her son pursued a career as a mechanic. He was always into mechanical stuff, she said. He always liked vehicles, just very hands-on. When he wasn't working, he enjoyed time with his family and friends and was a great big brother to his siblings. Going to the crash site and speaking to those who were with him in his final moments are part of a journey she must take. It's just little things that I have to do, and this is something that I feel I need to. I feel like I need to do it for myself and for my son. So again, that's the article that written about Zach. And Rena, if you don't mind to explain to us a little bit of when the crash happened, who was there, and who you're looking to get in touch with, just out of the small chance that there is someone who's watching this live or stumbles upon this live and knows something, they could reach out to you.
So a couple days after this had happened, I'd actually seen on Facebook under one of the news articles, for this that there was a lady that had said, "Oh, I just missed the accident. I drove by." I reached out to her. As a parent, I want to know everything that I possibly can. Was he in pain? Was he still alive? You know what I mean? I really didn't, believe it or not. You think that as a parent, you'll get all the information. I'm going to be honest, when this happened, the state trooper didn't tell me that he was ejected. I actually did not find out that my son was ejected from the vehicle until I got the news article the next day. The news article told everybody that my son was ejected from the vehicle before I even knew.
You did not know that he was ejected until you read that article. How horrible is that the news journalist found out what happened to her son before she did? Imagine finding that out from an article. That just really bothers me.
Yeah. My family had seen it, and they actually were trying to contact because they didn't think I had seen it yet. And I had already seen it, but they were pissed, obviously, trying to, contact, and they were saying that they got the permission from the police station, and the police station was like, no, you know what I mean? So I don't know, but yeah, it was quite messed up. I think I have the picture.
It was the one that I edited it and I played around with the contrast, remember?
Yeah, I have it. Hold on, I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay, I'm gonna go in. So there was these two women who helped Zach. A lot of people just go right by, right? They just rubberneck and they take pictures. But there was two women already there trying to resuscitate Zach, and there was the man. And so she's gotten in touch with the man, but she's looking to find these two women, one that was in scrubs, and most of all, she wants to thank them. Thank them.
I sent you the bird too for giggles, just to.
Let's see.
As a mother, I just want to, and I hesitated on this because what had happened was it took me months to do this. So after I had gone and seen the site, like I said, April 15th, I had gone and seen it. I then had more questions. You know what I mean? I felt like I was ready for that. It's all about bucket lists. So now my bucket list was I needed to find, so basically what this girl on the messenger had told me is she had seen two women and what she thought was a firefighter there. So I went on a local Facebook page for this area and I typed in this news article. News person had reached out to me, and I mean, Melissa can tell you, I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not about this and stuff like that. And, after no one really answering that Facebook thing, I got in contact with the firefighter who was there, but he actually showed up afterwards. And he did try to resuscitate him. He did say there was a nurse there that day who was actually either on her way home from work or she was going, I'm assuming on her way home, and she had stopped. I really would like to, just speak to her, and I need to thank her, because not many people would stop, and stuff. And, she was the last, what I consider to be a motherly figure with my son. If there was, if he was even just still alive for a second, you know what I mean? So I really need to, it's part of my bucket list. I need to thank her. I did speak to him, and he couldn't tell me who she was, but I thanked him, and he shared with me what he could. Just something I need to do. I need to do it for my son. I need to do it for myself. I just need to thank.
Absolutely. So, like, if you happen to be watching, the small little chance, reach out. I keep dropping Rena's email in the chat because I'm sure you want, and I know you were on a hunt for answers, right? Like, you want to know every detail of what happened that day, but to also thank them, thank them, because I remember you said if there was a chance he was still alive, which is unlikely, he had died pretty much upon impact, but you were thankful that he was not alone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as a parent, I mean, I'm sure anybody, when your kid gets hurt, every detail. He may have been 22, but I need every detail, and that was my biggest fight. Even, they didn't want me to see him. They wanted to, fix him up and everything. And no, I need to see my son before you put the makeup on, before you do all that stuff. No, like, he's my son. I need to see him. It's something that I hope nobody ever has to. And like I said, the shootings and stuff like that, that's really hit me, just to, like, these parents, what they're going through and having to wait hours. And some of these parents weren't even able to see their children again.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's frustrating seeing on YouTube that people weaponize parenting kids. Listen, parenting kids, they go hand in hand. Just stop throwing that around, like, because it's so ridiculous. Come on, guys.
No. And you know what? I'm not saying that there are some parents that are bad parents and that's the reason why their kids are, but even Melissa can tell you all 4 of my kids are completely different. And I've raised all 4 of my kids the same. I have my 19-year-old wants to be a pastor.
Yep.
Now, I'm not saying that I'm not, don't have any religion, but I'm not the most religious person in the world. I wish I could say that I have a lot to do with him wanting to be a pastor. But every kid is different in their own way. All 4 of my children, like I said, they all have their own little, different ways, different personalities, different attitudes, different this. And I raise all my children the same. So it's the parent bashing, and it just all needs to stop. It needs to stop.
Right. And everyone's willing and said that they'd be willing to help and share on Twitter, Facebook. I remember you originally made a post, right? Because I shared it asking, so maybe we could get a link to, like, that same, maybe if we link the article and just ask if anybody knows the woman who was there and stopped. I'm sure that would be a huge part in your healing process and closure.
Absolutely. No, that's fine. I appreciate it. And like I said, I was very hesitant. Melissa, you can tell. Anybody could tell them that I talked to that I was very hesitant on doing this, but this is something I feel like I need to do.
Is it okay to put the link to the article that I just read?
That's fine. That's fine. My last name's Smith. You know what, Melissa? I told you I'd come to the point. If somebody wants to pull up my information or pull up, it's whatever.
Right. Yeah,
You
that's a good
get to a
idea.
point in life where you're just like, you know what? If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. You know what I mean? It's whatever.
Well, I put the link to the article, guys. Anybody who's willing to share it. And again, you just write that trying to reach this woman who was there. That's all that she's trying to find. And so then here's one of the photos. This is from your son's graduation, right? So we have this.
Yes. You may want to show the video first. Now,
Yeah,
just to let you know, I'm not going to share it, but I did share with actually D2S and Melissa the actual Facebook post that it came from to show, because I wanted to like make sure it was known that I didn't put it there or anything like that. So it was actually one of my 19-year-olds. He graduated from high school. One of his friends had shared it and tagged him, so I was able to see the video. So this isn't even a video that I took. So I sent you the video too, Melissa, but this is to, you're going to want to watch where this tree is. You can actually see his face. I don't know if they can see it. Should I circle too, or? I'm so used to just seeing stuff, so I don't know.
I'm very familiar with Zach's face, so I can see it very vividly. I don't know if you guys see my pointer on the screen, but right here, do you see this? Can you guys see my pointer?
What if we could see cyber threats in real life?
I'm going to play the video, though. Hold on. Let me get it up.
Cece McGee said, wow, so I'm guessing she sees it.
Now, these are everywhere. So this, I'm going to play the video so you guys could see it in actual real time.
She said you could totally see his face.
Yeah.
And like I said, D2S and Melissa, I mean, I guess I could show the Facebook page, but blur out the girl's name. I don't want to be doxing this, but I did show them. Look, she posted this on her Facebook.
Yep. It wasn't you. You didn't even take it. But that's the thing, is that you just keep going along, and anywhere you look, you see it. You see him. So hold on. Let me.
You can play the video. Yeah, it's like a 23-second, but that's just to show it's when Vinny is my night. Well, Vinny was actually the magician that was on here. What was it, like a week ago? For Bryn's birthday, or 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
But he was graduating. And I actually got, when he was graduating, there was a Z in the sky. There's.
Okay. Here it is.
Now. Vincent L. Hansen.
So you see it, Melissa, if you stop right? Yep. I've grown to have an eye for stuff like this. I just catch it immediately. I don't even know what that was.
It was a Facebook recommended. That's not it, guys. Wait, so where's a good place to stop it? Here. And you know what? It's amazing that was like a grainy photo too, because you took it from a video.
Yep.
Where is it? Hold on.
Scroll back. It's before when he's walking up.
Hold on, let me take. Looking at the original. Oh, there it is. Okay. So it's back. There it is. Right here.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Is there a better, does it zoom up more? Let me see. Yep,
Now,
right
Alyssa's
there.
gotten better at this too, because at the beginning, actually her and the other girls in DTOS, and they'd be like, huh? But they've all actually gotten better,
Well,
better
once
at
you
noticing.
start to get familiar with his face and his features, it's very, very obvious. And so then, are you sure you want me to show the photo of the 3 kids with
That's
the card?
fine. Yeah, like I said, that's fine.
So these are the other children who are gorgeous. And so in the cloud, go ahead, explain.
Okay, so in the cloud, you can actually see, I don't know, you may have to zoom up on this. But right up top, you can see the heart. And then inside the heart, you can see my son's face, like with his hair. It's actually, when he was younger, he had kind of like a, what do they call it? Like a bowl cut or whatever. Yeah, I had my son have a bowl cut. But you can see, are you able to zoom in?
I'm
Or
going
do
to
we need
put
to
in a
crop it?
different one. Yeah, I'm going to.
Okay.
Hold on, because it won't let me zoom in. 1 second. Right, DTOS?
So when I say these are my 3 other kids, my oldest was 22, my youngest is 5. And I mean, I think I've got all the experience as a parent. My 5-year-old baby right there, she's autistic.
Mm-hmm. She is a firecracker.
I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if you can see your cursor, if you kind of put it.
Can you see the cursor?
No.
Damn it. I know DTOS, they look so much alike. I think you have to be really familiar with his face to see all of it. Like I said, in the beginning, it's usually like one of those pictures where it's like, do you see a man or do you see a dog? And all you see is a man, and you have to squint and turn it. But then once it finally pops out as a dog, you're like, oh my God, there it is.
That's how it was with the moon. I'd be like, I'm crazy. I'm crazy.
Crazy. And then ready, you guys? This one gives me chills, okay? So this was a very zoomed back photo, okay? Even this is zoomed in. It was like a photo of the entire yard. But if you look really closely, do you see that face peeping through?
That's my dad. That's a younger version of my dad.
I swear I see Zach. You can see the dark features, the dark eyebrows.
You know what? I'll have to find it too, the one of Zach in the window.
Mm-hmm. That one too. You see
so that was so I believe my dad brings me the birds now. I've kind of been able to associate with because the bird obviously came before my son passed too, but there was a red cardinal that kept coming around. So I was taking a picture of the red cardinal. And when I took it from inside, there was actually a glare, which is what you see right there, kind of a glare. This may actually be, I don't know if this is one of the pictures that you or DTS kind of colored so you could see it better. May have to, I don't know. I just grabbed one of the pictures.
I'm going to find the one on the window too, because I did scroll past that one, so I know it's in here. Ah, here it is. Okay. Do you want me to put the ring up too?
That's fine.
Okay. Okay. How crazy is that? You guys see Zach? See? I'm telling you. But like it's so grainy because this isn't even the original photo. This is zoomed up too. Like it's just a tiny piece. But it sent me chills when I saw that. I was like, oh my God, it's a face. It's a face. Okay, here, hold on. It might.
All right, I'm going to walk outside. Bring this. Hopefully I don't lose connection.
You'll be fine. Okay. So here is a reflection in the window. And here it is like zoomed up a little bit better. Ooh, it gives me chills. You saw it, Buttercup? I know, Cece. It is so clear. So clear. And so Rena had Zach cremated, and she did something so beautiful. She got a ring made. You guys, look at this. It's the ring made, and within the band are the ashes. How incredible is that? First of all, it's just a beautiful ring all together, but to take the ashes, and I know you guys can't see it, but like in the side next to the diamond in the center, that's where the ashes are. It's beautiful, right, Michelle? And then we have the bird who's always comes to visit Rena. We're pretty sure it's her dad. Same bird. Just sits right next to her, and it like obviously it chirps, but it's like it's communicating. Yes, he will, Cece. I know, DTS. It felt like it was taking forever. But it was like, I didn't even know they could make, like, I heard about it, but that is just so, because it's, now he's always with you physically too, right? He's on your finger, part of his body is there, and you're carrying him with you. It's beautiful.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're good.
I had to get out past Chelsea and to come outside real quick.
Oh yeah, the urn's badass too. That was in the video. But hold on, I'll show you guys again. But the most time his face comes out is in the moon, guys. It's all, his face is always in the moon. Hold on, I'll find it.
So everybody's got to stick up for me now when there's like YouTube videos made that I'm like the crazy ghost lady.
You're not the but I think that's the best part, is that Rena was not that type of person at all. Like, and ever since Zach's passing, it's not deniable, like he contacts and he shows all these signs, and that doesn't make you crazy, because that's the best part, when someone's really skeptical and they aren't really a believer, so to speak. And then to have experiences like this where it shows you, it shows you there's something. When someone passes, they're somewhere and they're able to communicate, and that should bring you some type of comfort.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I gotta, what's that, the YouTube channel too? We may want to share that too with Sandra, the medium. She does really good. I actually did a reading with her.
Vintage 52, yeah. I'll drop her link. But yeah, so Rena, you went to, I think it's Vintage 5280, and she's, what is she? Is a psychic medium?
Yep, she's a medium, and she actually did on one of her lives. She had done, and Zach had came through, and I mean, they do evidential, and it was free. It was on her live, but she was able to do that, and just gave me some information that proved that it was Zach, and then gave a message from him.
I'll find it. Hold on.
D2S, I'm going to have you guys make a video. I think it'll be easier if maybe we just do a video.
Of what?
They have so many different screen things and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Pictures and stuff. Yeah, and like I said, I was not a spiritual person, nothing. Um, After my dad passed, like I said, even like the 2 weeks afterwards, I was like, Get this bird off my step." Like, you know what I mean? Like, I still took pictures of it and stuff, but I didn't. It took my son, I'm not saying I didn't want to connect with my dad, but it took me really losing my son to, like, you're used to having your kids like every day. You know what I mean? I mean, I was like, he was older, but I still, if I didn't talk to him, I knew some family member had talked to him.
Ah, details. It is beautiful, right, Wolfie? So, what do you want people to take away from all of this?
I just want them not to be like I was, where something, dramatic had to happen for me to realize, enjoy life, stop taking the kids for granted, stop the child bashing, no matter what age, because you know what? My son was 22, he's still my baby. You know, Stop the bashing of drug addicts. Some people that they can, as much as you want to say, and I know there's different beliefs, and I'm not trying to make it about this, but you don't really ever know someone's story as to why or what has caused them to be the way they were. Like I said, my son, he felt like, and one day I will share the story of what happened when he was younger. I'm not quite ready for that. Like I said, I can tell you that the person is in jail for 35 years. But traumatic experiences can cause this too, and nobody knows. You know what I mean? You don't ever know someone's story. And to him, this made him feel normal. Can't explain why, I can't explain the reasoning, but I guess it kind of drowned him out. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to say I don't drink or anything like that, but I mean, Melissa can tell you this too. What have I said, Melissa? You know what? I was someone who, would drink a glass of wine here and there and nothing like a big drink or anything, but I'm afraid to even start because you know how easy it would be for me just to want to hide. You know what I mean? Just to want to forget.
Yep.
But I don't want to fall into that either. So I haven't had a drink at all. I think I had a half a glass of wine since my son passed away in December. And even at that, I was like, nope. And wine is not something you're really going to, but you know what? I could start with wine. So, you know what I mean? A glass of wine, and then before I know it, I'm drinking bottles. And I don't want to fall into that. So I just want people, and the seatbelts. It's seriously, and hopefully somebody takes this and stop being so confident. Anybody, stop feeling so confident that, you know what, that you can do this and you can do that. And you never know. This was a drive that my son took every day to work. And it wasn't even that busy. I was actually surprised to hear that there wasn't a lot of traffic. It just happened to be a windy road at that time, and we don't know if there was maybe he almost hit another vehicle and that vehicle didn't know. There was no other vehicles that were involved, but just stop. You can wait to do that live, or if you want to do the live, just, you know what, you don't need to read the chat. Maybe have one of your mods read something to you if they need to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you're gonna go live, if you're gonna live stream and drive, you guys put it where it's hands free and don't look and read chat while you're driving. It takes if anyone has ever driven before, and like I remember there was one time I dropped a CD. This was when I was much younger. But the 1 second it took for me to like lean down and grab that CD, I looked back up and it was like, and you do the jerk because it's like within 1 second, it could, someone could slam on their brakes in front of you, or you could just go off course. Like anything can happen. It's not worth it. Don't be so naive to think it's not going to happen to you because, again, I'll never forget the morning that you called. I'll never forget hearing that pain, that fear, that shock in your voice. And it definitely woke me up. I'm sure it woke all of our friends up who was around for that. Because once it hits home, once it hits that close to you, you realize it could happen to anybody. So I know a lot of people are like, whatever, I know. Don't text and drive. Don't look at it. No, for real. Like, I hope even if it's just one person who could take away from that, don't do it. It's
No,
not worth
no.
it.
And I'm going to admit, I mean, when he was recovering and because he had been, there were so many times that I would say to him, Zach, why are you FaceTiming me while driving? And he would, oh, I'll be fine. I'm not really looking at you, mom, and stuff like that. And I probably should have pushed him more. But you know what? I was in that mode where as long as my baby's sober, it'll be, I wasn't taking it as, much as I should have. It's no joke now. No joke now. I will fear for the rest of my life when any of my kids drive.
Yeah.
So it's no joke, and just take it a little bit more serious. It seems to have gotten worse. I don't know. Like I said to Melissa over the last couple weeks, like it just seems to have gotten way, way worse.
A lot of lies,
And
yeah,
it may
a lot
not
of people.
matter, but it causes me anxiety. And I know that doesn't matter. I'm only one person, but I'd like for eventually maybe to cause a lot more people anxiety. Just so you need to be here for your family, your kids, your parents.
Right. And I want to put this post up. So this is a post Zach had made. And it says, I am the face of a recovering addict. I was a drug abuser, not just of one drug either. I abused various drugs and alcohol too. I made bad decisions because of my drug abuse. I threw years of my life and intricate pieces of my life away without realizing it. But I'm not ashamed of my past. Anyone who knows me knows I am an open book, transparency at its finest. I am proud of who I have become and continue to become every day. My past drug use does not define me as a whole. It is simply a part of my history, a part that I will not be ashamed of because it taught me what I never want to be again. Addiction does not discriminate. We have to stop pretending that addiction is something to be ashamed of. We have to talk about it. Addiction sucks for the addicts and their family and friends. But when we silence the problem and pretend like everything is okay when it isn't, the fire grows and disintegrates everything in its path. People are dying. We have to talk about it and share our stories. We just have to. Please
And I want to
share with your own picture.
And I want to say this. This is one of the things with Melissa. Melissa, for the longest time, was afraid to. And earlier she said it too, and she admitted to it. I give Allie, I even give Granny. I give anybody who's willing to speak about it. I give you tons of credit. And you know what? People like you are my heroes. Same thing with my son. I'm not ashamed. Like I said in that speech that I did, I can't even quit smoking. I'm smoking a cigarette right now. To be able to quit drugs, that is very brave. And that is something that I think is very awesome and not to be ashamed of.
And that's one of the reasons why you're asking and urging people to stop weaponizing that information. I only recently discussed publicly that, I had been an addict myself. Well, if you want to consider yourself recovered addict, I don't. Point is, I was addicted in the past, and I never wanted to share that because one, people judge you harshly, and then two, they weaponize it. Can you just
Can I cut you off for 1
Go
second
ahead.
before I forget? DTOS, I just want to state, because I don't want to, he didn't actually write that. That was one of those things that you share on Facebook. You copy and paste. I mean, he could write. But he didn't actually write that. He was one of those things that he shared.
You copy the actual writing,
Yep.
and then you post your photos. One
Yep.
when you were, deep into drugs or alcohol, and then one recovered. Me too, and T's apple bottom jeans. So I
Congratulations. That is awesome.
But people are scared, just like in this post, to speak out because it'll be held against you. It'll be weaponized. People judge you, right? Immediately, if you share that you're an addict, doesn't matter if you've been sober for how long, they're like, I'm going to, I don't want to keep my pocketbook around you, your wallet around you,
I feel like I need to go to all you for advice on how to quit smoking because, like I said, I can't quit smoking. So I can't imagine, something. My son, his main drug of choice was meth. I can't envision, I've tried to quit smoking, just the withdrawals I go from nicotine. You know what I mean? Like I just can't Mm-mm.
Well, and
It
that's
takes
why one of his biggest accomplishments, one of his final accomplishments is he was completely sober when he passed. And that's amazing.
Yep. Yep. And then to live in the sober living house. I mean, he didn't live there quite when he passed, but sober living house, I would recommend that to anybody. For the first year, he went to a sober living house. He got to live, got to still go out and do what he needed to do, but they drug tested him and, just to kind of keep you on your, I guess, on your toes or whatever you want to say. Definitely. And I'm not saying there's people that can do it without all this, and I commend them too, that they don't need to go to, a detox center and stuff. But yeah, it needs to stop, and I needed to do this for my son, and I needed to do it for, people I see on here that are being bashed. It's just crazy. It's crazy. And the amount of people that I heard from, I didn't even know. As a parent, you think you know everything about your kids, but the amount of people that reached out to me that he was still helping, to make sure he helped them get to meetings and stuff like that. And it's a shame you never truly know someone's worth. Someone's cool. I know my son was amazing, but you never truly know until it's too late.
Absolutely.
So just, stop taking your kids for granted. Stop taking other people's kids for granted. Like, just stop using them as pawns.
Well, I'm so incredibly proud of you, and I commend you for doing this. I've said it so many times that you are one of the strongest people I have ever met. The fact that you're still standing and you're still functioning and you're able to share his story, your experience, it's amazing. And even if you help one person, that's all you could ask for. So again, you guys, the from prison to, what is it called? From prison to
purpose. Basically, their story is they were both in prison, all kinds of trouble and everything, and they had to finally hit that bottom to want to go get help. They had to hit that low point in their life, and now they have a purpose. Their purpose is to help others. I can't do what they're doing. Hopefully one day I hope to be able to. Me and my sisters have already talked about this, but I feel like my purpose right now for my son is to do things like I'm doing today.
Absolutely. So that link is pinned and it's been dropped. If you or someone you know is struggling, this is a really great option, a really great program. This is Rena's email. If you need someone to talk to, if you're struggling, if maybe you have a loved one that has passed, she's here. And this is what your purpose is now, is to speak and bring awareness and try to help others who may be going through something similar that you went through. So don't hesitate to reach out to her. She's quite nice. I'll give her that. Yeah, and I appreciate everyone being
I'm
so
quite nice. Yes, I'm a little bit more judgmental since all this has happened in my life, but I really do the things that I do because I care. I really do what I do because I care. I really don't have anybody on YouTube that I consider an enemy. This just opens your eyes.
Everything becomes very minimal in the grand scheme of things.
I may be picky, I may get on your nerves, but it's only because I care, and I just want, we all need to be better. I want to be able to come here. I'm sure many do, to be able to just, kind of like, this is my out of real life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So
I'm so
that's
sorry, Mama.
pretty much it. And I'm very proud of myself. I didn't need the tissues, and I did this.
Amazing.
And hopefully Zach is proud of me. And
I know.
Thank you all.
No, thank you, Rena. I appreciate you sharing your story and being open with us. I know it takes a lot of strength and courage, especially the platform that it is and how brutal people are. You have to even be scared to share a vulnerable story like this out of fear that someone might, be an asshole, or try to turn it around. And that's so sad that you even have to worry about it. But I give you so much credit for being able to come up here and do what you just did. So thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you. I'm good.
You did it. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for everyone for being so super respectful. I appreciate it. Thank you, mods, for keeping the chat under control. And yeah, just be a little bit smarter, slow down, be appreciative. You're not promised tomorrow. If you need help, reach out. You aren't alone. And yeah, The email link is posted, and anybody who's willing to share that article to try to bring more attention to find that woman, maybe we could, like Wandering Sub said, make a little pre-recorded video that they could just share out, and it'll be a lot easier versus people writing it up themselves. But yeah, I look forward to that, and I appreciate everyone for willing to do that.
Thank you very much.
Okay, guys. All right. So I'll talk
No
to you
mushy
later.
D2S. We don't do the mushy.
We're not allowed to do mushy, but I do
Okay.
love you, Rena. I love you very much, and thank you for coming on.
All right. Thank
All
you.
right. Bye, everyone.